Welcome to Real Reviews, where we take a look at major Hollywood releases and let you know if they're worth your time, money, and patience. I'm your host, Walter Banasiak, and today we take on the king of the monsters, Godzilla. Godzilla is such an interesting movie icon. He was first developed in 1954 for the Japanese film Godzilla. 2 years later, in 1956, he was adapted for the US by inserting American actors into the original film and releasing it domestically as Godzilla, King of the Monsters. In the years to come, Godzilla became a lasting movie monster mainstay and had a total of 28 movies made in Japan from 1954 to 2004. In 1998, director Roland Emmerich attempted to bring a 100% American-made Godzilla movie to theaters. The results were less than favorable, and it became an infamously bad adaptation that most Godzilla fans would rather forget. Fast forward 12 years, and in 2010, Legendary Pictures announced they acquired the rights to make another American Godzilla movie, this time with heavy input from the Toho Company, the original production company that made all the Japanese Godzilla movies. That long road is what brings us to the 2014 film. This movie has the world's most famous monster pitted against malevolent creatures called Mutos, who, bolstered by humanity's scientific arrogance, threaten our very existence. Godzilla stars Bryan Cranston, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Ken Watanabe, and Elizabeth Olsen as our human anchor in this monster disaster flick. Opinion on this film seems to be really split. There are a lot of people defending it as a faithful homage to some of the original films, while others aren't as impressed with it. Unfortunately, I suppose I fall more on the latter side. A common complaint is there is not enough Godzilla on screen throughout the movie. It does seem like the other monsters and their less than stellar design are focused on much more than Godzilla himself, and I think that was definitely a detriment. Don't get me wrong, whenever Godzilla's on screen, I loved it. I was yelling for joy when he finally used his atomic breath. Just truly incredible to see everything come together the way it did. But I needed more. So much more. The buildup is so drawn out over the course of this 2+ hour movie that it made it seem like we were going to get the monster fight to end all monster fights at the climax of this film. The fight was cool, yes, when they showed them fighting, but it looked like the filmmakers were afraid to fully pull the trigger and really go all out with the ending fight. The true focus of this movie are the human characters. That would have been fine if the movie was shorter, but I found myself getting really bored at some of the elongated gaps between seeing or hearing about our movie's titular character. There is also a huge lack of payoff to Bryan Cranston's character, who is without a doubt the most interesting human character in the movie. His presence was really wasted here, and eventually the first 30 or so minutes proved to mean nothing and have no real bearing on the plot. Aaron Taylor-Johnson's character, Ford, was fine enough as the movie went along. Taylor-Johnson is decently likable as Cranston's son, who is on leave from the military when the monster madness starts. From that point on, he is desperately trying to get back to his wife and son in San Francisco. Some of his defining character moments were botched and some were handled well. In the end, Ford is more of a mixed bag of heroism and failure. Did he carry this movie? No. But he's just entertaining enough to warrant the audience's attention at certain points. As a whole, Godzilla stopped a few steps short of the proper finish line for me. As I said, whenever Godzilla is actually in the movie, I was so drawn in, it was great. But he's just not there enough for a 2-hour+ movie. There is more than a decent amount of good in this film, and I really wanted to like it more. Maybe the sequels will match up more with what I and a lot of other people want to see. In any case, it is what it is, and Godzilla 2014 is a disappointing 4 out of 10. Be on the lookout for our real review of X-Men Days of Future Past coming in 2 weeks, and remember, if it's not reviewed here, it just isn't real. I'm Walter Banasiak, and I'll see you at the movies.